says record situation. It says recording now. I don't know where the recording's gonna go. Welcome to episode
1 of the Ride or Die podcast. I'm Carly.
And I'm Paul.
And we're your
hosts.
Oh boy. So this is actually going to be a podcast about Big Brother right now, since we're in season, but who knows what it'll be in the future. You know, when Survivor comes back on, I'm sure we'll have stuff to say. Drag Race will be on. God knows how many seasons they do with that. All Stars, you know. So we'll be back soon after this, so, you know. But for now, it's a Big Brother podcast, since that's what's on, and we've been going crazy and watching the feeds, and this is definitely, like, the show we're the most into. So, I mean, it's, and how often do we have an All-Star season? Season 22's All-Stars, second All-Star season ever. We had to celebrate, and we are, and this is how we're doing it.
And I know we seem a little fake because we're starting our podcast halfway through the season, but y'all know how that first half was going. It was
this is
kind
a good time to start it because now they're actually doing things.
Now All Stars starts now.
That's what I think, because before it was just get Janelle out, and that was the show, and that's not a show. But it makes sense, and that's okay.
But then getting Kaser out right after, I don't know. Let's not dwell on the past.
Let's dwell on the past.
Okay, but let's recap the season, what just happened, and this past week. We're gonna make this a weekly podcast, so we're gonna recap what just happened over this past week and talk.
We'll give you a little setting.
Yeah, a little setting. So Kaser was just evicted. I don't know why he was all alone. They really could have took him in, but I get how the
no
house
gameplay
plays now, new school, whatever.
Yeah.
So Kaser got evicted, and then obviously we were all dreading it going into it, but we knew Kaser was going home. Not really surprised.
Yeah.
HOH comp, we were all playing, we were all manifesting for literally anyone to win that's not in the majority male alliance, and then we find out it's a knockout competition, which is kind of catered for the big majority alliance because they get to call each other out.
But it did do some good.
It did do some good in that it showed where everyone's loyalties lied and how they called people out, so that was cool.
And I think after that, like, that's it for the Slick Six, because I feel like that just that made it clear. Like, being Bailey and Davon, like, I feel like when you see that and you're like put up against each other, it's very clear.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
One time, and then Davon put up 4 times, and of course the ever talented Labor Day wins by having it handed to it, which honestly the cherry on top of the pre-jury part of the season. Like, I should have predicted that to happen. Like, you can write this.
I could have predicted that because of her position, because it's like she's in the majority alliance but the bottom, so no one's like expecting her, so no one's putting her to play against people, but also she's not on the bottom, so it's just like she kind of skated to the end.
Totally. And then she really had the end handed to her.
And then Davon was like nervous, so she just like gave up.
When Davon had the moment where she put the wrong answer in.
I mean, if you're that nervous, I get it. Like, it just, you don't, like, she was just definitely really nervous because at that point she knew it was all in her hands.
Mm-hmm. And that's why the past couple weeks before this, we had such a close one with Kaser, such a close HOH win with Janelle, like just barely missing, and Christmas won.
And it happens. Yeah. We get nervous. We get it wrong. And that's okay.
Yeah, so do you want to take us into
nominations? Okay, so Christmas is HOH. No one's feeling anything in the house because I think everyone thinks that they're okay because Christmas is just chilling. She's just in the middle. So I feel like everyone in the house is like, okay, or they're like, I don't know anything about this girl, like, praying for the best. But, so they do, I think the basement comp was before the nominations, right? Or was it after? Okay, so that was first. So what that basically was just like a competition in the dark. So a little flashback for David, a little war flashback there.
A little redemption arc, some might say, after how.
Yes, because he won a power. So basically what happened was Danny won the power to, like, so the former HOH would be able to play the next competition, and she could use that in the next 3 weeks. So she has like 3 weeks to use that. And then the blockers, what Christmas got, you use it at the, tell me if I'm wrong, but at the veto ceremony, like,
I think
block the veto from being used, or you get to pick, and I think if it is used, you could block yourself, and you block 2 people from the veto, like being a replacement, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh,
okay.
2 people it was?
I think you get to block 2 people.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's like yourself and someone else, or 2 people. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And if not, we'll leave a little clarification there.
I think it is.
Okay.
And then the disruptor is what David has, and that's oh wait, his might be the one where you keep yourself and someone. No, his you keep yourself safe, or it's 1 person, and hers is 2. Pretty sure. That's one of them you could save 2. I think it's Christmas. Anyways, the nominations were Bailey and Davon, obviously, because that's what the majority of the alliance wanted, because they were like the only duo in there that's not in that alliance. So I guess it makes sense because that they're the next in line to go home, the next in line for that. So it wasn't really shocking, but I think that Bailey and Davon were shocked because they thought that they were good with Christmas, and they were. Like, they definitely would have been. She would have been fine if they were to win HOH. So to me, it's like Christmas didn't need this, but there was no way to avoid it.
Yeah, literally, Christmas did have it completely handed to her. She could have lost that. I mean, she could have like tried to throw it, but
she couldn't have. It just happened. It was her HOH, and I don't think she was thinking about it enough. I don't think she's smart enough to be thinking about it like, hey, like maybe I don't need this. So I think she didn't get it anyway. But she would have been doing fine this week if she didn't have it. Would have been better for her to not win it, in my opinion.
For sure.
So that's the nominations. So then the veto. They picked players. Who was picked? Ian,
Danny,
and Nicole. And
Danny
Ian had to out because he was sick. He wasn't feeling good. And I thought it was kind of mean that they showed him like in bed in pain. I was like, God, let him have it some time.
The editing this week was just really like not nice to them. We showed Ian like sick in bed, and he also didn't.
And the Cody thing.
I know, and Ian didn't look convincingly sick. Like he was just like sipping water. Like I mean, I get that he's sick.
No, he was like in pain. He was like
rolling around in bed. They didn't show that, but they just showed him like laying in bed during the comp. It was weird. And then they did not need to show us Cody finding out his grandpa died.
I know.
Opening the letter, and then cut it to when he's able to talk to the camera. They did not need to show the heartbreak during a pandemic.
And they showed him like behind the chair too, like crying in there. I was like, oh, I'm like, why?
Consider it, but
yeah. And then also the house guests weren't considerate either. He was like, yeah, I want to be alone, and he was not.
Yeah, everyone like walked in one by one. It was so funny though when Nicole walks in her.
Oh yeah, her costume's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, so the veto ceremony. I don't even think we talked about that yet.
Oh, we didn't the mom. Wait, I want to say, while we were talking about Ian being sick, these house guests are not considerate of Ian otherwise. Like I felt so bad. He's already feeling sick physically. Meanwhile, behind his back, unbeknownst to him, Memphis is like making fun of him.
Yeah.
Laughing at it. Nicole's laughing at it when I thought she had this strong connection with him and they have like a final 2 deal going.
Who else was in the room? Danny.
I think
Cody.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. It was sad.
And it's funny, Nicole has had some sponsorships pulled from her career as a social media influencer, and we know when she gets out, I hope she apologizes for the better, but I really don't want her to, if she's anything like she's played in the Big Brother house, I don't want her to play the victim.
Yeah.
Just cry and make it her problem, because
she will. But at least she was the only one that was like, this is mean. The other people were just laughing. Like at least she like out of everyone, at least she was like, this is bad. And I mean, it wasn't lovely, but like it was better than the others.
And Danny's referred to Memphis as being mean, like he says mean things, but then she completely like underwrote that and like said she was agreeing with what
she's not lovely.
Nope. Talking about the veto comp.
So he's too sick to play in the veto comp, but everyone else did, and Nicole and Danny were like, we don't want this, of course, because they don't want any power, because they don't want any blood on their hands, because they have a deal with everyone. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we don't want this, la-di-da. And let me say, okay, so the competition was one of the ones where when you get out, it's like you get a prize, and the prize is like the unitard or like the veto, and you like trade as you go up. You could like have a choice at all the prizes. Anyways, so if I was Christmas, I would be so mad that like I feel like it was very clear that they didn't like want the veto. And they just like.
Do you think Christmas is bothered by that? Come on.
I think they had like a small talk about it. Like I was watching the feeds and I think they had like a quick little chat where Christmas was like, oh, like I didn't love it, but like it's okay. I still want a competition, but she didn't care much to bring it up again. But like,
yeah, I mean, publicly in the house, it's definitely a choice. Like if you're that cocky about your like secret alliance that you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know you're not going to win the veto anyways, so you get stuck with whatever punishment is at that top spot.
Yeah, Dani went in knowing that she like wanted like the slot free pass. Like she went in thinking that, which is like I was like, dude.
It's just annoying that all these house guests on an all-star season, because this has been the pattern in the past few seasons since like 16 a majority alliance dominates the first half of the season and then they just like implode on themselves the second half. And I think we were hoping this season it'd be a little different, but it wasn't. And I guess it annoys me that Dani and Nicole are so comfortable in the house that they felt they could just do that and have no one question it, but that's just the reality of it.
At least soon, like, I mean, we'll get there, but like this week I think like this upcoming week is going to be like where it all changes.
That's what I said last week. So we'll see.
No, I really do.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get into this week.
They have to. There's like they're running out of options. Everyone's in the alliance now. So Christmas wins the veto, but basically she won the same veto that she won in 19 that was like thrown to her, the race one. I don't know if you guys recall the one in Big Brother 19 where her foot was broken and it was like a running one. It was like that, but this time with math. So really exciting.
Yeah, that was. I think that was her HOH win actually, where she had her leg and everyone in the house threw it to her.
That's insane. I feel like that's what happens when the season's all recruits.
See, it's all recruits, and it's all when they come into sequester, they show them season 16. Or that's what the rumor is, at least.
Oh, really? I think they said that's true. I think like some of the house guests have confirmed that that's true. I think now they probably show them 20. Because David said the only one he saw was 20, and that kind of makes sense.
That's T. Okay.
20 was like
20 was like that rare exception in the past few seasons where we had a second side of the house form.
Yeah.
To others, it just like flopped terribly, which was funny, but tragic.
Haley should be on the season. She said she wanted to be too, and I was like, if you wanted to be, why aren't you?
Oh my god.
He deserves it.
We don't need to talk about why Christmas is here. I don't know what the thinking was there. You have all these other great candidates when she's the biggest bootlicker to Paul of them all. But
she could have been a great player if she was like, because you know how she talks about how everything's like a team. If she was doing that as strategy, I would think she's a great player.
I think that is her strategy. Like she's
but if she was doing it as strategy to say that, but really had like her own plan, then it would be smart. And like the fact that everyone would think that she's such a team player and want to keep her for now, that would be good. But like the fact that she like literally thinks about it as a team is like scary to me. But this is her second time playing and she still like literally thinks like that.
Yeah, I mean
it's ridiculous, kind of.
The first time she got herself to a good final 3 with Paul and Josh, that's kind of like a win-win for her if she were to make it to 2 from there. But
you think she would have won?
I think I mean, if Josh could beat Paul, there's no reason Christmas couldn't have beaten Paul. I mean, actually, the broken leg, a little iffy. You know.
I think she would have beaten Josh too.
Yeah, at least Josh.
She could have won. That's ridiculous, but yes,
right now, I don't know what her thinking is. I don't know who in the committee or commission, whichever. I don't even like anything about. You know?
Oh my god! Wait, it totally changes every episode.
Yeah. Well, no. The one is between Cody and Memphis. It's their little like runner-up renegade final.
Oh, is that the commission? Yes. Or is that the committee?
Is the wider one, I think.
Probably. Why is it the same game?
I don't want to know the difference. I don't care.
Honestly, the two of them. That's funny.
Messy of them. Like, what if they mix it up?
That's so funny. I didn't even realize it's like the same name.
Yeah, like what if like Cody like outs? I could see that happening. I don't know. But I don't know what Christmas's plan is in there because I think everyone else in the committee or commission, the 6-person one, they have their plan of who they want sitting in the final 2 with them or final 3. That breakdown. Christmas, I have no idea where her head's at.
Tyler, but like she's not playing like that.
No.
Okay, so yeah, Christmas won the veto.
And then
veto ceremony, yeah.
Going to the ceremony, we had everyone trying to keep up with the feeds. It was so messy seeing what was happening with Tyler. but it seemed like he genuinely was not in a good place in the house, wanted to quit, and then the way he talked to Bay and Day about it, he was really using, I don't want to say co-opting the Black Lives Matter movement because I'm not fully sure how that word works, but it seemed like he was really like recognizing feelings of guilt that he had being in the house, and he felt that they should be in the house, and he wanted to quit. All these layers factoring into him willing to put himself on the block. And at the end of the day, it did come down to Christmas not being willing to do that, which I understand. Like, again, like you said, Tyler's Christmas is his final two, so that makes sense for her game not to want to nominate him. But it seemed like there was a lot of DR conversations with him. And then in the episode after the veto ceremony happened, when Tyler was talking in the DR, it seemed so weird and uncomfortable, and it seemed like it took him so long to say, like, hey, you know what? I didn't come here to game friends. I came here to win the $500K for Angela, it's such a shift from the beginning of the episode. I just like it. And he's saying how guilty he feels and how he's willing to leave. And then he's like, yeah, well, I'm here for the money. And people on the feed said it was because they threatened, or Brodner, whoever's in charge, threatened to take away his stipend if he put himself on the block. But very messy considering Lawan was able to get himself nominated on Big Brother.
I think it's because it's different.
It's a little different?
It's so different. Oh my God.
I guess Lawan, it was strategy, so it's important to make that distinction. Because it's his belief that he would come back with powers, which is different from Tyler, like, wanting to leave.
And this is an all-star season. It's Tyler. Like, they want Tyler there.
Yeah.
And everyone loves Tyler, I feel like. I feel like everyone likes him.
Yeah, he's in a great spot in the house. I'm sorry that he's not in the best spot mentally, but everyone said if he was really, like, committed to, like, wanting to leave and, like, to supporting Bay and Day, like, he would have left without the stipend. But, I mean, to find out you're not going to get $40K in income, that is kind of, like, a huge decision. And at least I understand where he's coming from.
I also think the reason he was saying, like, because he thinks that they, like, deserve to stay, whatever, or, like, that he, like, ruined Bailey's game, whatever it was, like, I think that's a lie. I think he just wanted to go home. Like, I think he's just saying that.
Yeah, that's a good factor, too, honestly. And the fact
I'm sure he just said
there's no way to know 100%. We're all speculating, but it was definitely a sus couple days on the feeds.
It's sus, yeah.
And let me just say, I appreciated at the veto ceremony, at least, like, Bailey, like, called Christmas out. I thought that was cool. It's still
it was cool.
It's still Devon's fault for, like, telling Christmas her untouchable and then not getting response from Christmas in that pivotal conversation of the week. I hate the term untouchables, but I guess it makes sense. But
she didn't get a name. She made that up, she said.
Okay. Good. Great.
Good for her.
That makes sense. That's a good gameplay to, like, call her out.
Why not?
I think that's cool because at least even if she doesn't verbalize her answer, the whole house, their wheels are turning about who Christmas's untouchable is. We here at the Ride or Die podcast prefer the term Ride or Die, or even just like a final two deal. Untouchable.
I don't even think they probably do. I mean, I'm sure. I don't think Tyler cares as much about their relationship as he did with Casey.
Oh, for sure.
But Christmas does.
And I think Tyler has he had a final two with Bailey, ripped. He had a final two with Christmas, and one with David, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
more, but I feel like the only one, I feel like the Christmas one, I feel like he'll be loyal to Christmas, but, like, she's no Casey, I feel like.
For sure. And I mean, yeah, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas, it's not Casey.
Casey had that social game that could beat Tyler's strategic game.
I love Casey.
Another 20, but Christmas, I think that was smart. That's pretty smart of Tyler to align with someone so despicable and hateable. And let's talk about that fight.
I don't even think that's why. I think it just kind of happened.
It did kind of happen.
Because the other three got, like, those three are, like, the squad, and then you got Memphis. He's just there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Christmas was just, I feel like it just happened. I don't even think it matters.
No, I know. Let's talk about that fight, right? The big moment.
The ridiculous fight?
Yeah, because you were saying before, like, you don't even, it was kind of a pointless fight, if I'm being honest. Like,
it was completely pointless, yeah. That's what I think.
Nothing changed because of it. It wasn't before any big gameplay decisions. It was after before the veto ceremony.
No, I think it was after.
It was after, yeah. And I'm trying to remember how it even started. Devon and Christmas were talking, and it was literally like Devon was just telling Christmas how she felt. And she felt upset, understandably, because she trusted Christmas and Christmas backstabbed her. And yes, it's good for her gameplay. And yes, gameplay is different from personal, but it is still personal. Like, Davon felt betrayed, and she had the right to feel, like, mad about it and sad about it and upset about it. And Christmas's argument for her feelings was, I'm upset because you're upset. And at the end of the day, Christmas was the one in power that week, so she needs to shut up. And then systemically on Big Brother, we've had very few Black House guests at all. We've had very few make it far. And it was just in this moment in history for Christmas to just not even
didn't acknowledge it too.
Didn't acknowledge that. You nominate half the Black people in the house on an all-star season.
But it's also like they were like the closest ally, so it's like it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but she's allowed to be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Davon's allowed to be mad.
It makes perfect sense for Christmas's game, and even with the whole Tyler backdoor thing, that would still screw Christmas over because then she has not one but two people in the house coming after her, guaranteed.
This might happen because of the Tyler thing.
But it's just important to acknowledge the coincidence of it all, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she has a responsibility too, both as a white person and as head of household and veto winner, like in the game and out of the game. That was really telling of Christmas's character for me.
I agree, and it's really Tyler's fault that it happened in the first place, because if he didn't like make that scene, then they wouldn't have expected her to use it. It was just the fact that he like said like it's his fault that happened. Really.
Yeah, and he didn't even like follow up with him and say like, hey, I don't think he's gonna do it. And that's what people are on the Twitterverse are like still mad about it. And I think he should be held accountable a little bit too, because he really led them on. And the way he like seemed to them with his guilt, with the movement going on in the country right now. And then he was just like, oh, 500K for Angela. You're not exempt.
I know. I don't think it's his fault that happened, that he had to stay.
But still.
But yeah, he shouldn't have. That's just a mess.
Very, very messy week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, did anything happen other than the eviction? I feel like that was like the big event, and then the eviction.
You're good.
So it was a unanimous vote for Bailey to go, which is kind of disappointing, just because we heard from the DRs from Enzo and David that they wanted her to stay, and I feel like they could have done more to campaign or try to keep her. I feel like there wasn't. I don't remember any campaigning happening. I feel like they were just like, okay, like I wish she would stay, but I don't care enough.
Yeah, and I guess there wasn't much to do. I think the point of campaigning, maybe it's gonna start. Maybe next week we'll finally get some campaigning and some vote flipping, but until now, it's like the vote has been determined, not even from the veto ceremony, from the start of the week. Like, who's going home?
Yeah.
It's been really disappointing, but.
Yeah, we'll get there, but I feel like this week, it's not decided at all.
So, yeah, but, yeah, Bailey home unanimously, and then Julie announces to everyone that there's no battle back, which was part of the reason that they were so motivated to get rid of Kesa right after they got rid of Janelle. Like, they were like, we can't even risk having them both in the house.
Oh, that's smart. I didn't even think of that, but that's smart.
But yeah, it makes
a little more sense then, at least.
I'm sure they're still going to count on a jury battle back, maybe, but I don't know if one's going to happen.
They probably will.
Yeah. See how that goes. But yeah, wall comp, and then that's the Thursday night episode. So for our broadcast people that are casuals that only watch the episodes, we're going to get into some spoiler territory. So if there's any of you watching, bye. Comment, like, subscribe.
Bye.
And for you feed update people, let's get into it.
Okay, so the second I saw this competition, when you saw this competition, but like they showed the camera showed it for like a second before it went to a commercial, and I saw it for a second, and I was like, this person's gonna win, and that person won. So I don't. Who did you think was gonna like? I was watching it with Jake, and we both were like, oh my god, why? Don't even play it.
I personally was manifesting a David victory. I know, controversial, but there was one feed conversation earlier in the season where Ian was talking about the wall comps with Kaser, and I think he was trying to like find a nice way to say it, but was it Victoria that won it? Or it was someone, or Danielle on Ian's season, my bad. I thought of 16 for some reason. On Ian's season, Danielle Murphy is the one that won it. And Ian was saying it was because she had a large, like a rotund
It's a girl competition.
It's a girl, the body and like the hip area, and and then people were saying on Twitter, David famously has a big butt. So I was like, this could be
a girl competition.
Shine. It is a girl the way weight works and like your body. And
it really is.
It's tough. So.
So I'm gonna say who won.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the people. So
these are the people. You guys already know Danielle won. So I to me it was really obvious. Like I was literally like, don't even play it. But I was surprised that Cody did so well.
Yeah. He's talking Tyler too. It was so miserable. All my faves that I wanted to win, they kept dropping like flies early on, and then I was like rooting for Tyler for a second there.
I thought Tyler had a chance, but it was it was really made for her, in my opinion.
Evil Dick predicted it.
Yeah.
The beginning of the comp too.
Even before I saw that tweet, I was like, it's her. But to me, the fact that she has that power with the nominations, that she could like play after the HOH, like she could play again, it makes me think it's rigged. Because when she got that power, it could have went to anyone, but like they didn't say who got what power, and they gave it to them in the DR. They just gave it to them, so they could have said anything, and it makes me think that they gave her that one because like they planned the wall, so she would because they thought she could win it.
That's a really good point, and I disagreed at first because like they had their own separate pieces for what the powers were. But
yeah.
Kind of like arbitrary, aren't they?
Yeah, because it was just like I remember there was like a lightning bolt. It could be anything. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, definitely interesting, and it's possible. A little.
Yeah, not for sure, but definitely possible.
But very possible. A little coincidental. So a little too coincidental.
And the fact that now David's nominated with Kevin, and it's like, how did David just got that? Like, I don't know. It makes me think that they wanted to rig this week so Tyler would stay. That's why they gave Christmas the blocker. So
yeah, all the stars. I don't know. It's kind of a lot of coincidences.
It's a lot of coincidences, but it makes me think that maybe they gave her this so she could save him, and then Danny would be like pissed that her HOH was ruined. But it's okay. She gets to play again next week.
Yeah. So what do we think is going to happen? So we have Kevin and David on the block right now. David's going to use his power sometime before they pick players for the veto comp. We think.
I guess, yeah.
He's gonna save himself. Is Danny gonna put Tyler up straight up, or do you think she would?
I doubt it. Ian or Javon for sure, yeah. In my opinion, I think it's gonna be one of them. What do you think?
That is so lame.
Do you go Tyler?
I think she would nominate Ian or Tyler because those are the two names that she's had in mind. I think honestly it'd be Ian, and I don't think she wants to give Tyler the chance to play veto, but people forget Ian's a little veto king, so. If it is him nominated, I'm pulling for him to win that veto.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, my heart wants Ian to win, but that fantasy league.
Yeah. No. I know. We do have for the viewers. We do have an ongoing fantasy league.
And Tyler's on my team. That's the only reason I'm like, oh.
Carly's team is 4/6 of the Mayo Alliance, and all I have left is Enzo and David. So.
Yeah. For those people. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want Tyler to get backdoored, but also I do. But also,
God, throw us a bone for the first week of jury. Come on.
I like Tyler as a person. I'd rather it be like Memphis, but that's not happening.
Oh, I would love. Oh my God, maybe she would nominate Memphis. She's not. I mean, she's in the 6 with him, but
she's only thinking about Tyler right now. Like, if she's making a big move, it's gonna be Tyler.
I would love Memphis to be the first one out. I would have loved if he didn't make jury, but get him out now, please.
I know she told Memphis that she wants to backdoor Tyler, and I don't know who he's closer with. I feel like this might get back to Tyler.
I hope it does.
I hope it does too. I would love to see a fight between them. I don't think Tyler's the type to like start a fight, but I would like it.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
Call her out, do something, it'd be on his radar. So yeah, a lot can happen this week, like really, with the way the veto goes and the way all these powers get used or not.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hectic few days over the feeds.
And she's saying she doesn't want to play, as of right now, she doesn't want to use the HOH thing for herself, like, this week. And I don't get why. Like, when else, like, I guess you could use it for someone else, but like, why? If you could use it for yourself,
You don't know.
that doesn't make sense to me.
To not use an advantage like that when you could. And I
I
guess
don't know.
less blood on her hands, but like this is All Stars Queen. You came here. You wanted to be you want to take the crown from Janelle. Show us.
Show us, and you have the power. I don't get why you wouldn't. You don't look like a target. It wasn't like I mean, you already are, but like, it's not gonna be like worse.
Yeah.
That.
I don't know, but a lot can happen this week. I'm actually looking forward to Big Brother this week. I think so. That's cool.
This week's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Anything else we should say? Like wrap up.
I think that's all for like as we know right now. So like currently we don't know who's like at the time we're filming this, we don't know who's picked for veto. So that like she just nominated Kevin and David, and that's it. That's like where we are.
Yeah. So we'll see who gets picked. We'll see when that power gets used. Flip flopping happens, and it'll be really exciting. But this was a great first episode, Carly. I'm glad we made it.
I'm glad we made it too, guys. If you watched till now, can you comment calculator? I see a calculator, so comment below calculator.
Comment Kalturu, like I think Pow Pow. Is he the one that wrote Kalturu in the spelling cup? Or Technotronics by that guy who we don't talk about anymore.
Yeah,
11.
Technotronics. If you've watched this far, and we'll be like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And we will be taking some guest stars in and out. So if you have any interest, you have to text us Technotronics. That way we know you watched the full episode.
Oh, comment because comment it because.
Well, comment too.
Other people are watching that we don't know.
Okay, all right.
I want this to circulate.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess this is it. I don't know. But
Okay.
we'll work on a wrap up for next time, everyone. But this is our first time. We're new to this, but it was fun.
It was fun.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Paul.
I'm Carly.
Good night, house guests. Well, you're not house guests here.
Good night, house watchers.
House watchers.